said worked in a meat packing job in Iowa, but an injury on the job caused him to stop working. Since his income fell below the poverty line, he will not qualify for this bill. Please be seated. Margarita de Leon is a housekeeper, but she does not speak or comprehend English. It is estimated that about 3.5 to 5.8 billion people can be excluded from the bill from an English language requirement. Please be seated. Juan Carlos Gomez was brought to the U.S. at the age of 5. However, since he served in the military, he is eligible. Please remain standing. Josefa Ortega has lived in the U.S. for more than 30 years, but left Mexico to visit her father last year. Since Josefa was out of the country for more than 180 days, she does not qualify. Please be seated. Georgina Sarasua was brought as an infant, and she now attends UCLA. She is a dreamer, so she is able to navigate the bill through the dreamer path. Please remain standing. Enrique Morales is a successful landscaping business owner, but his record indicated that he had a run-in with the law at the age of 18. Since he has been convicted under the law, he is ineligible. Please be seated. Mauricio Reyes has worked in agriculture for 5 years and now as a janitor. Please remain standing. Mark Ortega has lived in the U.S. for 30 years and has had a steady job in construction. His income does not fall below the poverty line. Please remain standing. Ana Castañeda has worked as a nanny since she came to the U.S. and makes beyond the standard living wage. Please remain standing. Isabel Martinez used to live in Chiapas, but recently migrated to Florida because of drought in her hometown. Since Isabel arrived in 2013, she does not qualify for this bill. Please be seated. Please look around. About half of the people are left standing, but it is estimated that only about half of the people remaining standing will actually qualify under this bill and be able to go through the process. Going through this process can take up to 15 years, and it is easy to become disqualified. For example, even though Mauricio Reyes is still working, he no longer qualifies for the agriculture worker requirements to go through the process under this bill. He needs to work in agriculture for 150 days during 3 out of his 5 first years in the U.S. He may be able to start the process over, but this will mean another 13 years wait. Mauricio Reyes, please be seated. Both Mark Ortega and Ana Castañeda are doing well economically in the first round. But when the economic recession hits in 2022, they get kicked off the path. Mark Ortega loses his job and he is unemployed for 60 days, and as a result must be deported. Ana Castañeda wage briefly dips below 125% of the federal poverty level, so after 10 years of waiting, she is disqualified. Mark Ortega and Ana Castañeda, please be seated. As shown by the infographic on the screen, people can become disqualified throughout the process if they leave to their country and come back, make below a certain wage at any particular time, and much more. This shows that even though the immigration bill is a solution, it is still leaving a lot of people out of the equation. This is a solution proposed, but as we see, there are many obstacles within it. Everyone, please be seated. And we just want to thank you one more time for coming to our presentation. I know it's a busy weekend, and we'll open it up to questions and answers, and we'll give brief introductions. Thank you. I'm Ashley, and I am a junior.
Hi, I'm Genevieve, and I am a senior politics major.
My name is Sean, and I'm a senior religion major.
I'm Julia, and I'm a senior politics major. I'm Kate, and I'm a junior politics major.
I'm Andrea, and I'm a sophomore politics major.
I'm Andrew, and I'm a sophomore ES Bio major.
I'm Justin, I'm a junior rhetoric major.
I'm Fabiola, and I'm a junior psychology and Spanish double major.
Hello, my name is Wesley Rodriguez. I am a junior politics major.
So if you guys have any questions, feel free to shout out.
So what part of Borderlands did you actually travel? Did you go from Lima to past Mexico, or did you just stay in the Tucson, Nogales area?
We went to Tucson and then to Nogales and then to Dallas, which is like 2 hours east of Tucson, and then off of Red Valley.
And I think part of the reason why we were going there, I think Sean and Julia mentioned it in their speech, was that the most recent U.S. border policy has actually funneled people into the Sonora, Arizona border desert as a way of deterring migrants, because it's the most dangerous area to cross. So they think if people die in the desert, or if it's too hard to cross and that word is spread, people won't cross. Whereas like in the 90s, people were traveling more through California and those routes.
When people are found to be in the U.S. illegally, they gather and take to central areas for deportation, or does each state or each city have its own area that deals with it?
Customs and Border Protection has split up the U.S. and Mexico border into different sectors. So we were mostly in the Tucson sector. If you're picked up by Border Patrol, you may or may not qualify for Operation Streamline. CBP has sort of internal mechanisms for determining who qualifies for Streamline. It's not entirely clear from the outside how they determine that. If you do qualify for Streamline, they do get charged with a felony. And you will have sort of the mass trial that we were describing, where 70 people are put through the courtroom in the space of about 45 minutes. If you aren't charged with a felony, if you don't go through Streamline, then you'll probably just be deported straight out.
You guys mentioned that you met with Border Patrol agents. What were your impressions of those that experience?
That was quite an interesting experience. They actually have like a prepared statement and kind of a PowerPoint that they showed us. And so a woman who was newish on the job, she kind of gave this presentation of their security policies and apprehension numbers and statistics. And halfway through, her boss came and sat and watched the whole presentation. So they definitely have a different way of going about things. But we got a tour and we were able to see and interact with other Border Patrol agents in a less strict manner and got kind of off the cuff answers.
A lot of the rhetoric of Border Patrol is very much centered on preventing terrorists from crossing into the U.S. and preventing potential weapons of mass destruction from being carried over the border.
And also, like, there were strange gender dynamics, like, it was weird, but it's really easy to blame the Border Patrol. You know, like, they're the ones out there, there's extreme amounts of brutality that goes undocumented, and it's really easy to walk in there and be like, what are you doing, you know? But we really had to take a step back and realize that a lot of the people who go into Border Patrol don't come from the easiest backgrounds within the U.S. either, and the starting salary and the accoutrements that come with a Border Patrol job are great. So it's like, the Border Patrol is something like that obviously has problems, but we have to problematize that as well. Because a lot of people really do think that they're protecting their families and that they're protecting their country, and what they're doing is really good.
A lot of them are veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan, and the rate of suicide in the Border Patrol is higher than it is in any other federal agency.
What's the average price that these people have to pay to guides? Are guides still being used extensively, and are they related to drug folks, or are they just enterprises in Central America, Mexico? What's the going price of a guide to get people sworn to visit?
Most people that we talk to are paying between $2,000 and $3,000 US to get across, which is a lot more than they were paying 10 or 15 years ago. And the cartels have really kind of taken over the business of getting migrants across the border. And so now there's a lot more extortion and a lot more, kidnappings of random. I talked to some migrants who've been tortured by the cartels in the desert. And so it's gone, so they've kind of taken that over and they've dropped the prices for this.
Was there any, during your experience, was there any parts of the system that seemed worth focusing on and expanding to help them? Were there parts that were helpful to people? Did you find parts of it as being successful?
Well, I mean, there are, not on the U.S. side, I think there were very few, if not, it was mostly nonprofits, and different community organizations like No More Deaths and the Good Samaritans that go out into the desert and do humanitarian work and put water in the desert and treat people for injuries, which some of us on this program have been able to do. On the Mexican side, there's a lot of really interesting programs. I mean, we can talk about Cafe Justo, we can talk about ICFA, we can talk about Grupo Streta. I'll tackle Cafe Justo. But they are a business that roasts coffee within Mexico. So Mexican produced coffee, they link up with farmers and can actually work with farmers. Because a lot of the times when beans are roasted within the United States, a lot of the cost that comes from producing coffee is exported to the United States as well. And so there's not much capital flowing in Mexico. But and there's also a lot more jobs created. So that was one example of a specialty job that we felt contributed to the betterment of the migration situation.
Yeah. We got to visit San Juan Bosque, which is a shelter on the Sonoran side of Nogales, which is a sort of a cross-border city. It's on the Mexican side, on the Sonoran side, it's 500,000 people. It's the only shelter in the city that's open at night for migrants, which is kind of crazy. It's very, very simple. It's like 2 or 3 rooms. Most of the nights they have people sleeping on the floor. And they told us that they had more than 1 million people pass through their doors since they by their own count, which is kind of incredible. They work on a shoestring to put these people up because it gets really, really cold there during the winter especially. And Nogales is kind of like a hotbed of exploitation for people from Central America and Southern Mexico who come up who sort of can't navigate Nogales. Yeah, so that was pretty inspirational.
So you guys studied this, and I was going to ask also, because using microphones, so those of us who don't hear very well. You studied this, you've gone down, you spent time there, you're aware of what the policies are, what the current Senate bills, what those are. What, clearly, our immigration system needs a lot of help. What do you collectively do after spending time down there with these people and seeing how the border patrol works or doesn't work? Have you spent time discussing what you think would work for our country and for the migrant workers who obviously, we especially need them? What kind of a policy do you feel would actually possibly work for everyone?
Yeah, we talked a lot about addressing the root causes of why people are migrating in the first place. So instead of focusing on after the fact that they're here and that's an issue, why don't we address it by looking at what U.S. policies are affecting the economic situation in Mexico and how we can change our relationship to make it so people don't feel like they have to leave their homes in the first place. That was one of the big things we talked about.
The answers are really hard to grasp. It's even understanding the situation is an enormous task. And several of us have been taking a seminar class that is exploring this in a more academic setting. And I think one thing that I've taken from that is just the questioning of what my part is in immigration. Because every single person in this room, in some way or another, is involved in immigration. Whether that's a family member, a friend, someone who might come and do yard work, voting power, everyone in this room has some part in immigration. And I think part of the first step at looking towards a better future for migrants is questioning our position in that. And it's really complicated, and it's personal, and it's a lot more challenging than saying, let's do A, B, and C in policy recommendations. But I think it's a starting point. And I know as I look into options after college and what I'm gonna do, it's scary, but I want to base it in what my role is and how I can create change through my location in American society.
We live on the Arizona border. We're right on the border wall almost. It's a very complex. It's a very complex issue. I agree that you have to start personally, but it's a global problem also. We're not the only nation that has migration problems. The people of Mexico have given more to me than I could ever give to them. And what these students have said, it's all true, every bit of it. So take all of it and mix it around in your own head and see what you can do. It's a mess. The man that you quoted, Moroni, or the rancher, that man is like 4th generation ranching on Aravaca, right? Is that where he is? He went down in his pajamas 2 months ago to fix his irrigation ditch in the middle of the night, and the Border Patrol came in with guns and questioned who he was. They knew who he was.